3 years ago in my reflection, I did a little history on why we have this feast day, the Exaltation of the Holy Cross. And I thought it might be nice to be reminded of why we celebrate this feast day every year.
Today in my faith tradition, the Catholic Church, it's a feast day called the Feast of the Exaltation of the Holy Cross. Now, it's one of very few feast days within the church that always falls on the same day. Like Christmas is always on December the 25th. This feast day of the Exaltation of the Holy Cross is always on September the 14th. So it's an important date in the church, and it commemorates three events. The first event was in 320 when Saint Helena, who was the mother of Emperor Constantine, who was the first Christian emperor of Rome, she discovered the true cross, the cross that Jesus was crucified on. And it was under a temple called the Temple of Venus. And you might say to yourself, well, Temple of Venus? I don't remember a Temple of Venus the last time I was in Jerusalem, or I don't remember reading about the Temple of Venus. Well, the Temple of Venus was a temple that was built by a pagan emperor years before Constantine in Rome, because he wanted to discourage and disparage the Christians and the people who were making pilgrimages. They wanted to see where Jesus was crucified, where he resurrected. And so this pagan emperor built this temple to Venus, the Temple of Venus, on the spot where he was crucified and where he resurrected. So in his effort to discourage and to disparage the Christians and the pilgrimages to go and visit that spot, to pray at that spot, what he actually did, and this is how God works, man thinks he's destroying the things of God, but God always wins. He actually marked for all time the spot where Jesus was crucified and resurrected. And it was under that Temple of Venus that the mother of Constantine, the emperor, Saint Helena, discovered this true cross of Christ. It's where it was hidden down beneath. And so the first date that's commemorated in today's feast day is the discovery in 320 of that true cross. The second was in, I'm looking down just to make sure I give you the right date, was in 335 AD when Emperor Constantine built the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre that he built in 335 was ultimately destroyed by the Persians in 614. And it was rebuilt again in the year 1149 by the Crusaders. So the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which you see in Jerusalem today, is the one that was built in 1149 by the Crusaders. There's been add-ons since, and it covers the spot where Jesus died and resurrected. So, but I said that there were three things we're commemorating today. One was the discovery of the true cross. The second was the initial building of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre by Constantine. But the third was the restoration of that cross back to Jerusalem. So there you have the reason for this feast day today. It's an important day, and it puts our focus onto the cross, which, quite frankly, as believers and people of faith, if it wasn't for the cross, we wouldn't have salvation. It was Jesus' dying on that cross that is the reason that heaven's gates are open to us. We have the opportunity, those of us who believe, to enter into heaven and spend eternity with God.